Hi, good evening once again. It's Richard here from Cummin Up, and it's a pleasure to be working once again with Camden as we have done for many years. So I've been asked to demonstrate the most typical Sunday dish in a Caribbean home. That's brown stewed chicken. And it doesn't matter which part of the Caribbean, it doesn't matter where you have it, whether you buy it, whether you go to your aunt's, whether you go to your friends or you make it yourself. It's brown stewed chicken on a Sunday. Right, so first of all, we've got our chicken. I'm using some quarters here. You could do otherwise use the whole chicken. You could use the breast, the crowns if you prefer white meat. We typically like bony meat. We like something to crunch on. So to clean up these, you would simply, these have already been quartered. Trim any loose bits of fat and the congealed blood around the back here. Run your thumb in it, if you like, to remove it. Cut it in the portions you'd like. I've got the lemon here because remember where these dishes are coming from, a time of oppression, slavery, where meat wasn't the order of the day for the slave. So anything you might get would have food-borne disease, pathogens, that's things on top of it, creepy crawlies, whatever the case might be. So we always wash our meat, more so chicken. Now, common UK practices, the environmental health officers suggest that the meat shouldn't be washed. Not that it would necessarily have to for sake of killing pathogens, because the core temperature will get it eventually up into the 90s. So anything that's harmful will go anyway. But if we don't wash our meat, it's not tidy. And we use something acidic, like lemon, lime, in some water, or perhaps even some vinegar. So bowl of water, you'd have portioned up your chicken, squeeze in your lime. Sometimes you'll even rub it, your lemon, you'll rub it on the surface. Get it nice and clean, and that's stage one. Then we'll go on to the seasoning. So over here we've got all the seasonings we're going to need today, and this is what we would use to marinate the meat and give it those deep flavors. We've got your sweet peppers, obviously brown stewed chicken. We love our sweet peppers, exceptionally good for the body as well. You've got your onion. You can have your regular white onion. You can have your red onion. You could even use some escallion, which if you can get it, typically in the Caribbean, but it looks like a spring onion, but slightly stronger in flavor. The Scotch bonnets. I mean, look at these. These are just colors. This is the Caribbean speaking to you. This is Scotch bonnet pepper. The darker, the redder, that's just heat. So lovely flavors, but the red one's more for heat. Typically, if you want the best flavor, like in your soups and the stuff, it's the yellow one. That'll give you the best flavor. If it's a fish dish, we tend to use the green. So even it's the ripening process, but each have a unique flavor. Thyme, a must-have. And finally, the secret ingredient, the secret ingredient, allspice or pimento. That's the flavor of Jamaica particularly. We've got garlic, but we can use the powdered version. So the idea is I'm trying to offer something that you might have in your cupboard. You might not use garlic that often. It might as well, pick up a small pack, even a 100-gram bag, and you've got it there for prosperity, and you can use it all the while. And over this side, we've got some paprika, which would assist us in getting that brownness, as well as some browning. Okay, so that'll help us give us the browning, the brown stewed aspect of it. And simply here, some plain flour, if you've got it, or perhaps corn flour is what mine might typically use, but most cupboards have some plain flour. So we'll set this in some water, beat it, and that would be our thickening agent. So once you've gone through your raw chicken, it's all cut up, the seasonings are applied and rubbed in slightly, and this is what you'll get. So we've got the cut pieces of chicken, we've got the onions, we've got the hot pepper, we've got the thyme, we've got some of the sea salt, and then it's left to marinate at least a couple of hours, ideally overnight. Cling film it over. You don't have to put it in the fridge. Leave it at room temperature. Now we'll start cooking. Beautiful. So we're going to brown the chicken. Now I did a few earlier. This is what we're aiming at. Now we'll get a really hot pan, our Dutch oven, and we'll sear the meat and seal the flavour. So it's very hot. It's not going to. You're not aiming to cook it at this stage. You're just aiming to sear the outside and sealing those flavours. So it's nice and hot. We've got our seasoned chicken. We'll shake off the excess. Nice and hot pan, and place them in the pan. Again, it should be nice and hot. In fact, at home, we actually burn them. We get them really, really hot, so it just sears all those flavours in. And this is how it is. So nice and hot, nice hot fire. Just sealing all those flavours in, helping to brown the meat, because everything we like it to be browned. If it hasn't got a decent colour, then we won't touch it. So there you go. Come in and have a look at this. Oh, I wish you can smell these flavours. Right, and there you have it. Lovely and sealed. Lovely seared. All the flavours are in there. We'll turn the pan down a little bit, but we've got those juices now. So I only used a small amount of oil. We've got all those juices. So now, effectively, we'll stick them all back in the pan. Put all of this lot now. And then some boiling water. You can see I left the pan really, really hot, or the pot should I say. There you go. So you've got a good, according to the amount of chicken, I've stuck in about 1.5 litres of water. And our sweet peppers. There you go, that seems to have done the trick. Perhaps we'll switch that off now. I do like my sweet peppers and loads of onions, so it'll help clear that inflammation in times as these. There you go. So we'll just make it simple. Just throw everything in there. We've got our allspice. Bung that in there as well. A little bit of salt. Give it a quick stir. Get all those in there. There you go. Salt to taste. Get some of our, little more of the crushed pimento. Right, a little bit of garlic powder. I'll use the garlic powder today and not the actual cloves of garlic. It just helps everything to get in there a little quicker. Okay, you can see I've put quite a few of the spices and things in the pot. We're just going to do it once, but typically we will season twice. So the meat's already been seasoned. We'll add a few bits to the pot, bring it to boil, and then just before the end of the cooking process, we'll then stick a few more spices in, a few more seasonings, so that we get a fresh whack. There you go. So those are all in. And then we'll stick a little bit of our paprika. Now, modern day cooking, the modern day Caribbean cooking, so you will have to use some of this stuff, all-purpose seasoning. I'm just going to stick a little bit in there now. I put a little bit in there earlier whilst we were seasoning it, seasoning the raw meat. So we've got all the seasonings we'll need now in there. Let's just push everything down. And then finally, we'll get some of the browning, a tablespoon. But then again, you can adjust the quantity according to your likeness. And then what you must do, a quick taste on the hand. Hasn't even started coming together yet, and it's lovely. Sneak preview. Now, we put a fair amount of Scotch bonnet pepper on it while seasoning it, so the heat is still there. I've tasted it to my likeness. It's absolutely fine. But, you know, if you like a little more spice, by all means, finely dice as many or as little or partial Scotch bonnet pepper as you like and throw it in there. So now we've got everything in. Put the lid. Go make a cup of tea. 45 minutes later, this is what we've got. Look at that. Everything's coming down absolutely beautifully. Well, just grab a fork, test your meat. Oh, look at that. Nice and juicy. Already cooked. So all we do now is thicken our thickening agent. So I've got a little water. Rough approximations. 2 tablespoons is enough. In fact, you might not even want to thicken it, to be quite frank. I'll just run through the motion. So we have our water, and then we add the flour to the water and simply beat it, getting out all the lumps. Whilst it's bubbling, pour it in. There you go, it's just calmed down slightly. Sink it, just to give that sauce a little body. If you've got the odd lump in there, don't worry about it, it'll boil up. And then finally, our herb. Stick it in a couple of minutes before the end, the thyme. Then you'll get that, a real smack with fresh flavours. Pop the lid on. Turn it down and just simmer for another 5 minutes. Low flame now, just simmer. It's just making that, it's finally coming together. The sauce is thickening. That big punch it's going to get with the thyme, woofed in with flavour, and that'll be your lot. There you go. And after a couple of minutes simmering, say about 5 minutes, this is what you get. It's all come together lovely. Look at that. Brown stew chicken at its best. And it wouldn't be quite right without some rice and peas, but you can get out that one another day. Let's plate this up. Oh, look at that. Lashings of sauce. Loads of chicken. Lovely sweet peppers. We won't mind a little bit of gravy. There you go. Lashings of gravy. Lashings of the good stuff. Give that a quick wipe. Now look at that. There's no Caribbean home that would be complete without brown stew chicken, rice and peas on a Sunday. Go and get yours. This is mine.